Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening. Welcome to the Premier Formula Racing League. Welcome to round 6 in Bahrain. Tonight, I am not alone. I am joined by my dear friend Still. Welcome.
It's an honor to be here, Eddie. Hello, everyone. Still Guns here, straight from the barren wasteland that is called the United Kingdom.
And it will be a hell of a race, because we have seen a hell of a race last time out here in Season 2, where Luke Walstow took the championship. That will not happen this time. But we will have a few reserve drivers. Luke Walstow is in this race, I see. Sapphire is in the McLaren seat, replacing Nitsen, who actually lost out on the seat. He has left the league, and Ovek is also not racing. But not
It's looking like it's going to be a very straight result for Luka Jovic then, who was the winner last weekend.
Unless Tainsy can do something on that. Alex also was very good last time out here, so we should expect a lot from him as well. But anything to play for. We have a quick look then at the standings after Japan last time out. As we see, 99 points for Luka Jovic right now. Ovek didn't get any points last time out. Both of the McLaren drivers actually did not finish. And that caused no points for McLaren. And that is good to see here in the team standings. Aston Martin is going away with the points. 50 points clear. And behind them, Red Bull, Mercedes and Alpine are fighting for the first top 3.
Yeah, it was a perfect situation for Aston Martin last weekend. Both of their rivals crashing out or out to the points to get a double podium. It's a dream scenario, essentially, as we're watching Ragdi here on his flying lap, trying to set the benchmark here, and we'll see what we can do. First sector completed in 28.628 seconds. Bit of a traffic jam in sector 3, going down towards turn 14. Whilst Ben Dixon has also just started his flying lap. The two Alfa Romeos on their flying laps here.
Yes, indeed. So I try to have my minimap started. Yes, there we go. Both of the Alfa Romeos are first out. And we're currently watching Wagdy in his lap. Obviously sets the purple sector.
106.8, and he's just completed that sector in. We've got a yellow flag. That is, I believe that is Biscuit, who's just had a bit of a moment at turn 3, and he's aborted his lap attempt. There's also been a spin for Kuro in the Haas at the exit of turn 4.
As Wagdy here sets his fastest lap. The benchmark is currently a 28.7.
May be beaten momentarily, indeed it is. By I thought there was a 126. I misread. It's a 128.6 for Tainsy.
Michael, who is also reserve driver, setting a low benchmark. I think he might drift away here somewhere. Alex right behind Tainsy here.
There's a very close margin between the two Alfa Romeos. 128.776 for Bagdi. 128.787 for Ben Dixon.
Jeez, indeed.
It's not quite the gap we've seen on some occasions. It's not exactly the same time, but it's very, very close.
It is close between the top 5 in a whole. 2 tenths separated between Tainsy and Coke.
This is interesting. Is Mathage. That's I don't know how you pronounce
Matthijs.
it.
Matthijs sets
Matthijs.
the new benchmark here, 28-3. 3 tenths lose from Tainsy. Now the real benchmarks are dropping in, as we see that Luca is also on a flyer in Sector 2.
Through turn 11 he goes. Oh, we've got a yellow flag ahead. That seems to be a car that's run out of fuel. It would look like the Red Bull,
Red Bull
let's
there,
say,
yeah.
as Luka Jovic, 106.3 and purple through Sector 2. Now on the run down towards turn 14. Can he nail these final 2 corners and set a decent lap time? It's looking like it is going to be decent.
It is a 28-1 to be exact, 2 tenths from P2. A new benchmark.
Very close indeed at the minute. Other cars setting lap times. Luke Wolstow starting a lap here.
Wolstow, Plum is starting a lap. We're following right now Plum, who didn't set a lap yet. Same counts for Luke Wolstow, who's now in turn 2. But Plum here sets a purple Sector 1.
28-4. As we've got more yellow flags, it looks like another car running out of fuel on the in-lap. What can Plum do through turns 9 and 10? Try not to lock up. Oh, a little bit wide, but not too shabby in the end.
Nice and easy on the throttle here.
There's the Aston Martin. I keep calling it an Aston Martin. It's a Red Bull.
It's still a Red Bull, yeah?
Aston Martin. It used to be Aston Martin Red Bull. Not so much anymore as
Plum. Purple Sector 2. There we go. Is this gonna be a new benchmark here?
I'm not sure I believe that. I think it's more of a game thing, I think. But we'll have to see.
Well, I hope that you're not right. I hope Plum sets the new benchmark here. Can he beat Luka Jovic? Cross the line.
No,
Only
he cannot.
28.6 P4.
But it is identical to Tainsy's lap time.
Well, indeed.
Down to the thousandth of a second.
It is so close.
Almost Europe 97 situation here. If Alexei can do a 28.618 as well. But not likely. Oh, spin for Matthias at turn 13 and going the wrong way. Clearly that's dangerous driving.
Indeed.
I mean, that's what the FIA thought about
reversing.
beep, beep. So let's see. We've got Plum is on his in lap at the minute.
In lap we have
Alexei
Alex on his
out
out
lap.
lap.
Luke
Alex
also
on
with
his-
a flying lap through turn 10. Oh, is he on a flying lap? His lights are blinking. I don't think he is on a flying lap, actually.
I think the first one who is crossing the line right now is Luke Wolstow. No, that is not Luke Wolstow. Then it is Alex.
It'll be Alexei.
Yeah. Yeah, is it Alexei or is it Alex?
I mean, it ends with EJ. That usually means it's an Alexei, but if you, I don't mind you calling him Alex.
Yeah, he is called Alex before, so I think we should call him Alex, as we do. We're going to follow him in this lap, Sector 1. Can he take purple here? Well, only at 22. Not good at all.
It's he's marginally up on his previous best by half a tenth.
Well, a half a tenth will give him P3, so if he continues this run, he might go to the second row.
As long as he nails the rest of the lap, nicely done through turns 9 and 10. The DRS opens as he runs down towards turn 11 now. There's been a spin through turn 11. I think that's a Williams. No, indeed it is a Williams.
Yeah, it is a Williams.
Through sector 2 now, and he's up by 3 tenths.
Oh, 0.3 of a second. That will bring in P2, but can he do more in Sector 3 is the question. Through the last corner we go. Now on the throttle here on board with Alex. Can he go fastest here? Oh, misses out. Only 0.2 from Luca.
Crucially, 400ths ahead of Matthias in the Williams, who's currently in the pit lane. And whilst we were focusing on him, Vagdi went P4 with a 128.5. He jumped all three of the drivers in fighting the P3.
Indeed
on a
did.
flying lap. No, he's not on a flying lap. He invalidated. Tom also on an out lap. I do apologise if I'm speaking over you a bit, Eddie.
No worries at all. We have Tainsy here. Is starting a lap. DRS open here in Sector 1. Let's see what he can do. The other Aston Martin. Maybe they can produce a 1-2 on the front row. But a 10th up already in Sector 1.
Luca is down by 600ths. So
Down by
bit of a-
600, but right behind Tainsy, so he might get the slipstream done here.
But it could also be unsettled by a bit of dirty air, though he is not. Managed to nail turns 9 and 10. DRS wide open once again as we run down towards the Sector 2 split line, and we'll see what he can do.
Tainsy sets purple Sector 2 here by
Luca
2
does
tenths
not.
up.
Luca also up by just under 2/10.
Up by 2 tenths on his own time. Well, that will be a hell of a round then. First up is Tainsy.
Things are up to 128.3, but what can Luca do into the 127s? That's
Provisional
one hell of a
pole.
lap.
What a lap from Luka Jovic here in Bahrain. Right behind Tainsy. Maybe got a little bit of a slipstream there in Sector 3. But he gets a faster time and he is half a second up from the rest of the grid.
Gonna find someone who is on a lap here. It's hard to tell who is on an in lap and who's on a flying lap. I think Plum is on a flying lap. As he goes through Sector 2, he's up by 0.3 of a second, looking to relinquish that 128.6 time and take on at least a 128.3. But how well can he do this final sector as he comes through the final pair of corners and begins his final run towards the line? What can he do? It is just outside of a 127 time.
Just outside, but on the front row together with Luca as it stands. We have a few minutes left. What did I say? 4.5 minutes left, which means all the drivers are going in to get new tires, fresh tires, and prepare for that final run.
Jersey up 2.5 tenths as well. Currently P13, looking to break into the 128 times. DRS opens and up by 0.3. So it is into the 128s, but still just shy of Coke in P12.
Still P13 for Jersey as it stands. We haven't seen much of Luke Walstow yet. He nailed this track last season, but this time out, he just isn't
down.
here. He isn't there.
I think he's been having some... I don't know if you could call them mistakes, but clearly he's not having the greatest of times. He's got to pull into the pits, and I don't know if he's going to have the time to get out and get a better lap in. There's only 3.5 minutes of the session remaining.
Well, he should hurry. And hurry fast. Meanwhile, if we look at the times, only 6 tenths between P2 and 13. That is close. That are close margins.
Apologies, I'm having some technical difficulties here. I can't see anything at the minute.
Great. Love EA.
There we go. We've got everything back.
We see that Seguro and Reese are now going out of the pits. We see Matthijs going out of the pits. 2.5 minutes left to cross that line and start the last flyer of this qualification here in Bahrain.
A couple of drivers don't have their ERS engaged. Alex, and Mikhail Makarski not running with the ERS. I'm wondering if they're just testing the limits of their cars before they properly push, or no, it's an inline. That's what it's called. Biscuit is finally got a time on the board of 1:29.7, which means Alord down in the lowest ranked position at the minute.
And Wagdy is done.
5 seconds of the session remain. So this will be more than likely the last attempt from most of these drivers here.
It will. And first we have to cross the line is Zukuro. Behind him we have the Mercedes of Reese, and behind him we have the Mercedes of Coke. First we're going to watch Zukuro as he starts his final lap here.
Oh, retirement for Mikowski. I think he's done that inside the pit lane. So no yellow flags at all. Oh, Alex is also retired.
Alex retired. P3 for Alex didn't improve. So no competition anymore for Luca as it stands for Alex.
Matthias could jump Alex for P3 here. He's only 400ths down on Alex's time. All he has to do is improve in one sector and match the rest.
Exactly.
But that is... see how much of a tall order that is as he goes through. Oh, he's a 10th down through sector 1. So that is not what he would want to see. What can he do through the rest of the lap?
Currently, Zukuro sets a purple sector 2 here with a few seconds.
He's 4.5 tenths up.
4.5 tenths up. What does that mean for him? Can he go to somewhere near the front row maybe? Zukuro P3 with a 28.2. Now going to Reese, who crosses the line at P7. Next across the line.
Crash for Coke. Loses control.
Wanted to say next across the line Coke, but there goes his time. Furthermore, we have Matthijs, who invalidated
his lap. He will not improve.
Not improvement for Matthijs. Ben Dixon next across the line.
There's another crash for, I think that's Zakuro. No, it was Shankstar. He's crashed on the exit of turn 10.
Ben Dixon goes P4 here. 28.3 for him. Next across the line, we have Luke Walstow. We expect him to go into the top 5, but can he do that with his Alpine?
He's only a 10th up. He might not even get higher than P8 here. No, he's only into P10.
P10 for Luke Walstow. Now Plum next across the line. We have Luka Jovic in front.
At the last minute.
And Plum did improve, but not his position. So that means we have our pole sitter of today's race. Luka Jovic will lead the pack into turn 1 here in Bahrain.
Luka, meanwhile, is complaining about his straight line speed. He thinks he's got a bit too much drag.
Which will be exciting for the race.
And the driver most able to potentially take advantage of that issue with Luca's car is Plum, currently in P2.
But the timings, still, the timings are so close to each other, except from Luca. Look at those.
3.5 tenths.
Yeah, 3.5 tenths up. But the rest of the field, all the way to P10, only separated by 3 tenths of a second. 5 thousandths is the difference between P4 and P5. What a qualifying we have seen so far.
Indeed it is. Quite the close qualifying. And now we go into the race, just a few seconds away.
Straight into the race. No formation lap. If the timer is at 0, we have the 5 red lights on. And it's race time.
I just love that pit crew bug, don't you?
I just wanted to say that. I love this. This amazing bug from EA. At least we see the drivers all standing there already on the left hand side.
Yeah. Itching and raring to change tyres. Oh dear. 5 seconds until the race begins. I shall leave the honours to you. Oh, there we go.
Here we go. It is Sunday, the 7th of May. Here in the Premier Formula Racing League, we have 5 red lights on and they're out. And we are on our way here. Luca from pole position. Right next to him, we have Plum. And Luca leads the way into turn 1 here. And the Haas there of... right beside the Ferrari here. But the Ferrari of Plum takes P2. And they're all clear here. In the back, we have fights between the Alpine and the Alfa Romeo and the Mercedes here. They go side by side. There are touches there from the Alfa Romeo with the Red Bull. But as it seems, everyone is clear.
It's been a spin down the field for Coke, and Vagdi, who was started much higher up, is now down 7 positions, though he's managed to get back up a few more already. But
Still,
it's been a pretty clean start for most of the drivers.
Reese and Matthijs real fighting for it. They were side by side through the corners in sector 2, but here we are on the straight, and it seems like everyone is now looking for the pace, and Coke is the big loser from round 1, from lap 1. They all run a little bit wide here. Jersey, Sapphire.
Of course, we need to remember no DRS until lap 3. It's going to be a bit of a procession until then, until something potentially happens. Whilst Luca is already almost a second ahead of Plum.
And Alex is right in the back of Tainsy. Doesn't dare yet to go into turn 1 here, but has that exit here out of turn 2 into turn 3.
Was practically touching that Aston Martin. All he had to do was reach out of the cockpit and touch the rear wing. A bit further behind at this turn though, as Tainsy getting closer to Sakuro ahead.
And we have Ben Dixon out of the race!
Dixon!
Oh, that's a massive crash!
And we have a full safety car. That is massive damage to the Alfa Romeo. I didn't catch if that was contact or if he just used a bit too much throttle and dropped it by himself. That is a very disappointing start for Ben Dixon there. He was in such a good position, and now he's going to walk away from this race with nothing.
Indeed. But that gives us time to look at the tires, actually. Interesting enough, no one choose for the hard compound tire in the top 10, except from Sapphire, but he didn't start in the top 10. Everyone on the mediums there, including Luka Jovic.
Wagdy was on the hards at the beginning, but he's moved down to P13 after a pretty torrid start for him.
He lost
only P13.
4 positions in that first lap. Also, Coke lost 2 positions, and we have Luke Walstow gaining 4 positions in lap 1.
So maybe it's not all over for Luke Walstow. He may have had a pretty poor qualifying by his standards as he slides through turn 2. Oh, that was a big moment there. He's lucky to keep it on the track.
He's 5th.
It's gonna give me a heart attack. Almost had curse of the commentator. Fortunately, he's still going and he can hopefully complete this race with no other issues. We had a few drivers pitting for new tyres. Allord and Markowski pitched for new tyres on lap 2, I believe. Probably had some broken front wings in there as well.
Allord is definitely not gonna make it from P15 with medium compound tire.
Definitely not, but he will have a bit.
Oh, someone crashed. Sakuro is out of the race during a safety car. How many times did we see that in this league? How many times are we going to see this? Sakuro crashed during the safety car. Tommy Plasto did it. We have seen that Alex did it during the safety car. And now, Sakuro out of this race.
A bit of a shambles at the minute. Can't have that happening during the safety car.
Rookie mistake, you might say.
But at least their safety car is going to bunch the field up and allow Plum to maybe get past Luca and hopefully bring us a little bit of a battle for P1.
Hopefully we do.
He's a bit of an Aston Martin sandwich at the minute as Tainsy in P3.
Exactly.
Would we see an Aston Martin 1-2 here tonight?
Tainsy already gained 3 positions here.
Luke also
Absolutely
up
bonkers.
5. Biscuit and Shankstar both up 4. Allord, courtesy of the 2 retirements, is up 3 positions. Wagdy making his way up the field a bit more. Oh, there's been a spin for Biscuit.
Biscuit! What is happening during this safety car? People can't drive during the safety car. Unbelievable.
And we can't even call it Aston Martin sabotage because it's not. We have the AMG, Mercedes AMG Black Series in front of this field. The safety car, that is. Gonna have to cover for me here sometimes. My train of thought occasionally derails all by itself. So
I think safety car in this lap.
Yes, I was about to mention that. The field is largely bunched up. Safety car should be in this lap, but following the retirement of Zakuro, it may decide to stay out for another lap.
Well, no, let's
Wouldn't
not
surprise
hope so.
me.
Otherwise, we will contact EA. There we go.
Oh, there we
safety
go.
car in this lap.
Bernd Mailander has decided he doesn't want to lead this race anymore, so he's going to hand it off to Luka Jovic.
And Luka is used to start from the safety car because we have seen that a lot of times last races. We have seen a couple of times last race in Japan. But the question is, where will he go? Will he go early? Will he wait? Currently he is waiting. And when will Plum be awake? Not going, still waiting. Plum seems awake. And there he goes.
Luca
And
goes for it, and
Tainsy
he's
is
been caught
awake.
already. Tainsy
Tainsy.
into P2.
Wow, and the Red Bull also next to the Ferrari of Plum. But Plum is fighting back on Tainsy. Round the outside he goes here and has that inside line here. And still can defend his P2. Now, on to turn 4 we go. And Tainsy is going to try it here on the inside. But he waits.
Bit of spin at turn 3 again. That is the Mercedes of Coke. Once again having a spin all of his own village. And oh, there's a massive spin. And I was about to say it was a crash. It was not. Biscuit spins Mikhail Makowski at the entrance of turn 5. Loses his front wing as a bit of a punishment.
That is a real shame for Michael. But as it stands, Plum still P2. Right behind we have Tainsy and Alex. And they all go now here on the straight. Right behind each other. And I think Tainsy must look more in his mirrors than he can look in front of him. Because Alex is right on his tail.
Matthias also under threat from Luke, also behind. He went a bit wide at turn 13, and the Williams driver potentially going to be overtaken by the Alpine, though without the DRS, it's going to be a bit of a challenge for Luke to pull off. Oh, and getting a bit close from Reese. Almost went into the back of the Alpine. Coke has just picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's Reese being overtaken by Scherzi through turn 4. He's able to hold on to the position.
Oh,
There's contact.
Still side by side here. Still side by side, and the AlphaTauri now has that inside line, but Reese doesn't yeet yet. He takes that P7, and Scherzi now under threat by Wagdy, who is right on his tail. Can he dive bomb here? Yes, he can! And he overtakes
Alonso!
Oh, he overtakes the AlphaTauri there. What a move from Wagdy here.
Wasn't quite as clean as the move that Alonso pulled off in real life, but still not a turn that you typically see many overtakes at.
Oh, and Sapphire now. Oh, Alord almost lost it there. And Sapphire was on the back of him and still is on the back of him. And Alord already made up 7 positions here.
He's had a one hell of a restart, though that's probably due to 4 drivers behind having their own incidents. Biscuit and Mikowski having to hit a Sapphire, using his energy, and is he going to pass Alord here? Neck and neck at the minute. He's just ahead at the DRS detection line, and he's got the Red Bull driver. Can Alord fight it back, though, through turns 2 and 3? Does he get the DRS? No, he does, in fact, get the DRS. And he's closing at a rate of knots. He's got the outside for turn 4. And Alord has to settle for P11 for the time being.
Luke Walstow and Matthijs in a real fight here. Down into turn 1. Luke Walstow almost yeeted Matthijs. But they are still in the same order here. And
it's turning into a bit of a train at the minute. One that Tainsy is the locomotive in. Everyone else the carriages. Which would be nice if we were just going for a train ride, but this is a race and we want to see some changes of position.
exactly, we want to change some. We want to see some change in the wagons, actually. And Luca is really driving away here, already 1.5 seconds away from Plum, who is on his turn driving away from Tainsy, 1.5 seconds.
Now DRS for Alex here, he's within a second, within 0.4 of a second he is closing on the Aston Martin. I don't know if Tainsy is having the same drag issues that Luca is.
Oh, they touch!
Contact!
Alex runs into the back of Tainsy there, which causes maybe some damage, but it definitely causes a bad exit out of turn 3. So he won't be able to attack here into turn 4. And Matthijs now is really on the back here of Alex.
I don't think Alex has picked up any damage there. He is still holding on to the rear end of the Aston Martin. But that incident has allowed Matthias to catch up a little bit here. Alex are closing so much through turn 10 and gets the DRS assistance once more down towards turn 11. And he make the move up the hill or down the hill. He's going to have to wait until the next DRS zone, I imagine.
4 different cars from 4 different teams fighting, all for P3 here. And Tainsy needs to defend, but how much longer can he defend from Alex, who is now 2 tenths behind Tainsy?
I think his defense is going to be a lost cause here, especially with the poor traction he seems to be having. He's getting a bit tail happy through the exit of some of these corners. Alex closing, and he's made the position just about, but crucially, who was over the finishing the DRS detection line first there?
That is the question, and it is Tainsy. So that means that Matthijs now can overtake Alex, as Alex has run out of ERS. And Matthijs actually going from Tainsy as well, as they go side by side and they touch. Contact there. They both lost out on the positions, and Luke Walstow is the running sheep here.
Thank you very much, Luke Walstow says to Alex and Matthias. It was a very desperado move there from Matthias to try and get past the Red Bull, but in the end they both didn't do it very well.
No,
Now,
they didn't
Alex,
exactly, because Matthijs didn't
here.
get the right amount of grip out of that corner. And Alex, well, he didn't want to give much space to Matthijs. And that caused the crash between the two of them. And actually, Reese is now between Alex and Matthijs. So Matthijs lost out on another position. And he might have damage as well.
So
Meanwhile,
now, Tainsy under threat from a completely different driver. Luke Walstow is now within DRS range of the Aston Martin, but not able to make the same inroads on the green machine just yet.
Who is making a move is...
Oh, yellow flag!
Blom.
That's
Oh,
Luca
Luca.
has gone off!
Luca gone off in turn 3. What happened to him? P7, everyone is overtaking him. Does he have any damage?
It doesn't look like it, but I wouldn't be surprised if his rear tires are cooked. I reckon after this lap ends, he will come into the pits and bolt on a fresh set of tires.
That is possible, but how many times this season have we seen a mistake made by Luka Jovic? Never have we seen that. And now it finally pays out, because we have a race in our hands.
And Tainsy is responding to that. He's closed the gap to Plum by about 0.2 of a second, though he's losing it a bit through turn 12. Opened the gap behind to Luke Walstow by a few tenths as well, but still under threat. And Reese ahead of Alex at this point. I think he got past in the previous lap.
Yes,
Alex,
he did indeed.
Yes, Alex is completely out of energy. There's no way he can fight back here.
For some
Reese
reason,
is
Alex
crazy.
always is out of ERS. So, and he always makes a move. So let's see if he can do that
He's got
here
the
as well.
DRS. He took a little look up the inside. He's under threat from Matthias again.
Again. And they
Whereas
know each other very well now.
And Matthias has a very healthy battery, almost 70%, as Alex making his way past Reese here and into P4 without a lot of battery. Oh, Matthias now get wheel banging with Reese in the Mercedes, side by side through turns 5 and 6, and Matthias back into P5.
And would you look at that, that is a brilliant move by Matthijs. Finally he got it right, he got the grip, and he is passed. Now his old rival Alex is the next one who he should pass.
Reese trying to take back the position. He's well within DRS range on Matthias. It's just a question of who has the better drag setup here, as Luca, he did not pit like I predicted. He's back into P7 here as we've had a spin further down the field. I think that's Biscuit.
Yeah.
Yes, he's got his car going again. The yellow flags no longer waving.
Currently looking at the big DRS train from Alex all the way to Sapphire. I say Alex, but actually Matthijs is out of DRS range from Alex and is now under attack by Reese, who is looking, waving.
The dummy, but still not able to make the move just yet.
He can cross back here.
Line.
He has that better exit.
Again, oh, but Matthias crucially got within a second of Alex and has DRS to defend. So now Alex is the head of the DRS train once again. Though maybe for not much longer, as he's pulled out of outside of a second. Oh,
yellow flag again for...
Again, he's got cooked tires, I would imagine.
He has to go in, and that is exactly what he does here. No, it isn't what he does. Okay.
Probably just making way for Coke, whose tires probably aren't screaming for mercy.
Look at Jovi, still stuck behind Reese. Had that incident in turn 3. We don't know what happened, but we can only guess. No car was near him, so he must have spun it himself.
Just rocked it all on his own. And at the head of the field now, Plum, almost 2 seconds ahead of Tainsy, whose brief spurt of speed has seemingly vanished as we've got Luca into the pit lane.
Luca into the pit lane, probably going to that hard compound tire. Question is, where does he end up?
It's a good stop. Jersey also in the pits. Fresh, hard tyres for both of these cars. And Luca now looking to undercut the rest of the field. But of course, his tyres going to be a little bit chilly. Meanwhile, Plum has lost a bit of pace to Tainsy, but still rather comfortable.
1.5 seconds up from Tainsy, who is under threat still from Luke Walstow, who keeps within that DRS range, but can't benefit yet.
Yeah, I think that Luke has just a bit too much downforce on his car, and that's hurting him through the straights. He's just not able to gain as much overspeed as some of these other cars have been able to.
And I think you're right, because we see that if he opens his DRS, and especially here, the timing goes up. We see that Tainsy is gaining, and if he opens his DRS, it is...
Spin for A-Lord at turn 11. He's got going again.
And we have Luke Walstow going in.
As well as Reese and Alex. Sorry, I spoke over you a bit there.
Well, and I did the same, so no worries at all. And Alex also inside of the pit lane. Wagdy is now overtook both of these cars, obviously.
Meanwhile, Luca coming through turn 15, he's not going to be able to jump the cars in front.
He is not, but he has the warmer tires, remember? So let's see what he can do. As Alex doesn't remember that he has cold tires. We see Luca already in the background.
A-Lord trying to fight back on Reese. Got jumped through the pits. Alord, despite being on the older rubber, is still going to have warmer tyres, but that advantage isn't going to last for very long, I don't think, as Luca closing quite rapidly on the cars in front.
Yeah, he needs to. He needs to close it rapidly, and we have Coke retired from the session in the pit lane. And Luca is already up the till from Alord. He gets the DRS. Is he trying it here? We don't normally see a move here around the outside, but he is doing it.
Letting him through.
And Alord is letting him through. My excitement is gone into dust.
More drivers into the pit. Plom, Tainsy and Matthias. So Sapphire is now in the lead. They're on those 14-lap-old hard tyres. I'd expect them to pit again at some point.
So Plum inside of the pit lane, now coming out, and he ends up in front of the group.
With the DRS has just overtaken Reese, used a bit of his energy to make sure of the move, and now comes out. Oh, contact!
Oh,
contact.
That is a big crash. That was Luca. Was it? Oh, and behind we have Sherzy running into Aero Michael.
I think it was was it Sherzy? I didn't see him, fortunately, but it was remarkable that Luca did not appear to get any damage from that collision. It doesn't look like Matthias got any damage either, so I have to wonder if the damage settings have accidentally been left at a lower level.
Yeah, we don't know that. Well, can you recall what happened? Because we jumped in a little bit too late.
Well, they were side by side going through turn one, and it looks like that Luca turned in before Matthias did.
Oh, and then you get that collision. Yeah, he doesn't get any damage as we can see.
Though Matthias under threat from Sherzy, so I wonder if there is some kind of damage. He's definitely got a poor traction through some of these corners. And Matthias might be out of the points at turn one here.
We have a yellow flag again for Shankstar, who spun around. And continues his run, and we see that Reese now overtakes.
Sherzy past Matthias, and Matthias now out of the points, but he was behind Sherzy at the DRS detection line, so he'll get the DRS down towards turn 4. He's got a bit of energy to play with, but is he going to make the move? No, he's going to stay behind the AlphaTauri here.
Also very interesting, Tainsy and Reese were in a fight here, and that cost Tainsy time, which means Plum is driving away. He is 5 seconds clear from Tainsy, who was in P2, but now the whole race is upside down, it seems.
Crucially, I don't know if Tainsy was involved in a collision somewhere, but Alex and Luke are ahead of Tainsy, so they've definitely jumped him at some point, probably through the pit stops.
He must have done that. And Luka Jovic now overtook Alord, so he is in P8 and looking to get going again.
A few seconds behind Reese, who is just behind Luca's teammate Tainsy. He'll have the DRS down the main straight here. But this Mercedes hasn't looked the fastest in a straight line. There's been another spin. I think that's Biscuit again. Reese has the overspeed and he's making the move, but crucially, Tainsy is going to get the DRS down towards turn 4. Can Tainsy take the position back?
Reese goes very defensive here, and Tainsy doesn't even try it, but he can cut back here. But he doesn't do that at all.
Meanwhile, Alex still being pressured from behind by Luke Walstow, who just hasn't been able to make his way past. Yeah, he definitely has to be using too much wing angle on his car. He's just struggling through the straights, unable to get the overspeed required.
Yeah, you can definitely see that. And Tazy is so close to the back here of Reese. He wants to get past, but in this section of the track, you just can't go side by side. As we see that Sapphire now gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which means he is in the pit lane, and Wegdy as well. So that means Plum will get his lead back here in Bahrain.
And that means Alex in P2 and Luke Walkstow in P3. Whilst Tainsy chasing Reese down to try and get the position back himself. He's just marginally behind, I think, at the DRS detection. No, in fact, it was Reese who's got the DRS.
But Tainzy has the better exit here and drives away from Reese. And he is now hunting Sapphire.
Yeah, Sapphire had stayed out on the hard tyres for quite a long time as Tainsy gets purple sector 1. But Sapphire held out on the hards and
really
now on the fresh mediums.
Really interesting here because Sapphire started like out of the top 10, right? So he must have had a brilliant run and a little bit of luck because of the pack that crashed behind him.
Started in P11, if I'm not mistaken.
There we go.
7 positions, but crucially has the 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So those medium tyres going to be absolutely crucial to try and build a gap to Tainsy, who clearly is struggling compared to Sapphire. He's 1.2 seconds behind already.
Indeed, yeah, those fresh mediums of Sapphire, you can really see that he is using those mediums. But how long can they last? I mean, they need to go at least 10 more laps. And the hard compound tire will get better during the couple of laps to come.
But will it be enough?
That is the question. Also, my concern is P7 Luka Jovic not gaining any time on Reese. He might have got damage after all, I think.
Certainly none is visible. Oh, bit of a slide there for Matthias, able to keep us on the track. But the Williams driver definitely threatening Luca here. Our long-time race leader now looking like he might potentially only score a couple of points here.
And that will benefit Tainsy in the driver championship. His teammate.
You need to note here though that Tainsy only in P5. That's enough for 10 points, but he won't gain as many points on Luca if Luca can stay in P7.
True that. Indeed.
So now Luca going down towards turn 14 rather, being chased down by a Williams that has been rather rapid as Sapphire fastest lap of the race so far.
Sapphire has a brilliant rookie race so far. He came into this league here at the start of this Grand Prix and already he has gained 6 positions.
Sapphire was in the race last week.
Sapphire was in the race last week. I am mistaken, but still. But still, he is very good.
Oh, dive bomb for Matthias around turn 4. Oh, has to back off and let Luca back through. He was not going to make the move stick there, but it was a very opportunistic move that just didn't quite work out.
Yeah, we know from Matthias that he can be aggressive. We saw that a few laps ago with the collision with Alex, and after that he had a brilliant overtake on Reese, if I remember correctly. So we know what he can do, but can he also do it on Luca? Can he do it on the championship leader? So we see that Wegdi now overtakes Sherzy, but that is because Sherzy has left the session.
Yeah. Seems like Jersey having some sort of connection issues, or maybe his game did an EA and just straight up crashed.
I think the second one. Most obvious.
So now
Matthijs.
Luca under threat from the Williams once again, but Matthias a little out of shape through the final corners.
Yeah, but I think he is going to hold it here to get a good exit out of turn 3. He is looking, and he is trying it around the outside. Gets a cutback and tries to get a better exit, but he almost loses the car.
Has a snap of oversteer through turn 2, and he's got to hold on to P8 for just another lap longer, unless he can make the move through turn 11.
We see Matthijs braking so much later as well than Luka Jovic, which costs him very much of his tire degradation. So I think that will be playing a role during the last couple of laps here. Oh, Luca goes wide here. Luca goes wide, and Matthijs takes the position from Luca.
But now that will give Luca the DRS down the main straight if he can hold on to Matthias here, and he definitely is. It was one corner, one mistake. It's not over yet for Luca.
But do you think that Luca might be doing this on purpose then? To get that DRS?
It's possible.
Because Luca making 2 mistakes in this race while he didn't make any mistake in the last couple of races. How is that possible?
Well, he gets the DRS, he's not using his energy. He seems to be quite happy sitting behind the Williams for now. But we can definitely say for certain that his first mistake at turn 3 was definitely not planned. The second one, possibly.
Yeah.
He's got the DRS
looking.
Turn 4. Oh, Mikowski gets a 3-second time penalty, a corner cutting. But he's down in P12 and quite safe from the car behind. Meanwhile, DRS not proving to be very powerful here.
Matthijs almost slipped away there. But keeps it running. Luca now gets the DRS, but the same is for Wegdi, who is just sitting watching the fight between Luca and Matthijs, and maybe he can participate in this fight.
Yep. He wants to turn that front row seat into a stage appearance, if you could call the stage P7. But still, it's going to be a bit of a tall order with the DRS. It's not proving to be that powerful today. It's definitely Luke Wolstow still struggling to get past the Red Bull over Alex.
But Wegdi here now gets past Luka Jovic on the straight, and I think that was not part of the plan of Luka Jovic. Wegdi now into P8 here and hunting for P7 on Matthijs, and Luca really lost his pace, it seems.
Yeah, his car still draggy. It's not proving to be a very nice car around this track, and all this is doing is benefiting Tainsy, still holding off the Mercedes of Reese. But I just have to wonder how long can Tainsy hold on to the position here.
Not only that, remember when Sapphire got that 5-second time penalty and he was like 1 second from Tainsy away.
He's 4.8 behind.
Wow.
Sapphire on those mediums is actually within a second of Luke Wolstow here.
Indeed.
So Sapphire potentially, but could potentially get a podium. Actually, probably not.
On track
at least, which would still be a phenomenal achievement for a man who's a a rookie, basically.
Indeed. And Luke
Oh,
Walstow now.
is finally getting past Alex here. He's smelling the threat of the McLaren, and he's finally decided to use his energy to get past the Red Bull.
Well, that is about time, Luke Walstow. And also, Wagdy is now getting past Matthijs for P7 here. Oh, and Matthijs slips away! Matthijs slips away, lost his car, and is out of the fight for P7 and maybe out of the points if he doesn't hurry up.
He will be fine. But he will only get a single point from this race now. What a shame.
And also Reese spun round.
That means Tainsy is safe from behind, but he's now crucially more than 5 seconds behind Sapphire, which has more or less cemented Sapphire in P4. This is an incredible drive from Sapphire.
Oh, what? My driver of the day is going to Sapphire, that is for sure. What a drive is he producing. 1 second behind Alex, and we see the red light flickering because he has only 11% of energy left, but that is not as much. Well, it is because Alex has only 6% ERS left. And Luke 8
on the energy as Luke gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, takes it away from Sapphire. And especially, he's just done that on 11 lap old hard tyres.
Indeed.
What a lap.
And I think he used all of his ERS to produce that lap because he hasn't had any ERS left.
Yeah. Red lights blinking on all 3 of these cars. And at the front, Plum has not been pulling away. In fact, he's actually losing time to Luke. This could be Luke taking a victory here.
It could be indeed, because Luke is gaining and gaining on Plum here. 1.2 seconds behind, but we also know Luke Walstow is good in the corners, but definitely not on the straight.
And Plum has just opened the gap a little bit. He has about 20% energy left, which is definitely a bit more than the 5% that Luke has. So
that is indeed true. We have another yellow flag here.
I think that's Matthias.
Again,
P10.
It is not a race of Matthijs. He had a brilliant move on Reese before, but it turns out to be a nightmare race for him.
4 laps of the race remain. Alex has the DRS, but he's used all of his energy trying to get past Luke. He's closing, he's gaining. He'll have the DRS again towards turn 4.
Almost runs in there into the back of Luke Walstow, but has that DRS here. But Sapphire, meanwhile, also in that DRS. So Sapphire only hopes of a collision between the two, Luke and Alex. Only then he can go to the podium.
And if any of these drivers are going to have a spin, I reckon it might be Alex. He's not looking so comfortable through some of these corners, though. Saying that, Luke was quite wide at turn 8 there.
Indeed, he was. He now gets the DRS, Alex, out of this corner. And he has saved a little bit of ERS, as it seems. And Sapphire did the same.
Gap for Luke's gap to Plum still wavering around 1.1 to 1.2 seconds. It's still just within touching distance, but still not close enough. Can Plum hold on to the lead here?
I reckon he will, because this fight with Alex and Sapphire and Luke Walstow is, I think, costing all of these drivers time, as Alex now
has another spin. He's under threat from Allord now.
Alex is past Luke Walstow here into turn 1, but Luke Walstow will get the DRS on Alex. So will he get Alex back here? Well, Sapphire is also looking on Luke Wallstow.
Sapphire's tyres, 9-lap-old mediums, they're probably starting to feel the heat by now. They're not going to be as grippy as they were just a few laps ago. Oh, getting close.
So close to the back there of Luke Wallstow.
Nicely through turn 10. Oh, a little bit of a touch, and I think that is Luke about to be passed by Sapphire here. He takes P3 on the road, but he will not keep that. There's not enough time for him to gain a 5-second advantage unless Luke has a spin.
Indeed. And as it seems, Alex is now free to go. And maybe he can try it in the last lap on Plum. But Plum still has some energy left and Alex doesn't. So that will be interesting as well as we go into the, well, almost last lap.
Sapphire did not get the DRS on Alex. There's been another spin. That is Matthias out of the points. His tyres are probably roasting right now, which would be nice if you wanted some potatoes. Not so much for your tyres.
Sapphire really on the back of Alex. I think it will be Sapphire who overtakes Alex more than Alex would overtake Plum, I think.
Yeah, Alex losing touch to Plum. His lack of energy is certainly not helping him, as I think Matthias has had another spin at turn 13. He's about to be overtaken by his teammate. Oh dear.
Yes,
it's
and
gone from bad to worse.
Matthias, he had such a brilliant overtake. I just say it again, but after that, crashed into Alex and spun round so many times. But Sapphire going almost to the last lap. He has one more opportunity, well, maybe two more opportunities here to get that P2 on track.
Plum is quite safe. He just has to keep it together for one more lap. We are on to the final lap, ladies and gentlemen. It could still go any which way. Sapphire gaining on Alex here. Can he make the dive bomb? He will get the DRS again as Alex makes him take the outside of turn 1.
And
Very
Sapphire here gets the better exit and gets the DRS. Can he try it? Alex forces him around the outside, but immediately goes back to the curb. And Alex stays in front. Sapphire might have one more opportunity to go for it. Oh, he goes really close to the back there.
Yeah, I think we have lost Eddie. So I will continue for this final few corners of the lap. And I don't think anyone can manage anything here. Alex with no energy left. Sapphire, no energy. Or at least very little energy left. Plum is going to take victory here in Bahrain from Alex. Sapphire will take P3 on the road, but it will be P3 for Luke on countback. Tainsy, crucially got within 5 seconds of Sapphire.
Oh,
what?
he did indeed.
I could swear he was absolutely clear of the drivers ahead.
And maybe he had some more penalties than we both thought then.
None that I could see. Potentially, though. Well, I'll just have to see on the end screen results. But I could swear he only had 5 seconds of penalties there, which means he's potentially the victim of a glitch here. But
That
let's
might be,
see.
yeah. But fact is, winner is Plum of this chaotic race. Finally, another winner here in the Premier Formula Racing League.
And Allord picks up a point as well. Sapphire gets moved down again. I think this is definitely a glitch. I think when
It has to be.
Tarkowski crosses the line, the Sapphire is going to somehow be in 11th. We'll just have to see. Tarkowski crosses the finishing line, and yes, I think definitely a glitch for Sapphire because Markowski somehow 10th.
Driver of the day, Wagdy. I do not agree on that part.
I think Sapphire for me, and you said earlier as well that Sapphire is your driver of the day, but that is his own driver of the day right there. Plum taking a well-deserved victory, I would imagine.
It is a well-deserved victory indeed. He took the opportunity. Lucas spun round there in turn 3. And Plum didn't make any mistake after that. As we have a quick look there on the standings, because what happened to Sapphire, he got a 5-second time penalty, so he is definitely part of a glitch, which means he should be in P4 on the driver's
Apparently,
standings.
he finished a lap down, so Sapphire P4, Tainsy can only take the P5, and Luke also goes from P10 to the podium and takes the fastest lap point as well.
Well, many driver of the days this race actually. Wow, what a race we have seen in Bahrain. And I really hope that you enjoyed this stream. First time doing a co-commentator together with Still. Let us know what you thought about that. I really enjoyed it. So I want to thank you very much Still for this amazing race, amazing commentary.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to be here. And I hope to see you guys next week. I don't know where we're going next week, actually. Do you know?
It's always a surprise. Normally I know that. Well, let me just quickly have a look where we are heading next week. We are heading to Austria. Well, that will be an exciting race as well.
Especially because Austria is one of my favourite tracks. Probably because it's so easy, but so easy to drive. I'm not a fantastic driver, but
let's see next week. I hope to see you then as well. If you liked the video, please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel and have an awesome day. For now, good night.
Take care, folks.